Hey y'all, welcome to For the Fans, where tonight we are going to kick off our coverage of the Challenge USA. We had a great premiere episode last night. I thought it was really good to see some familiar faces in a different setting. Kevin, what'd you think about it?
Liz, as you know, I love the challenge. And as you also know, I love Survivor and Big Brother and Love Island, people found out. Merging the two together and then making it a real season by having TJ as the host. Kudos. Twitter was saying, man, maybe the Challenge USA might be better than the MTV version right now. Who knows?
Yeah. I thought it was really, really good. I didn't have high hopes. I was like, let's just see what happens. But it's a real challenge. I mean, it's not, like a sissy down version. So I'm excited for it. And it's kind of strange that, this is now like our second kind of spinoff that we're getting. We've got All Stars. Now we've got the Challenge USA. And both of them might be better than the actual challenge. So,
Yep.
I don't know. They may need to look at what they're doing, but I'm excited to dig into all of the details. But before we go any further, let's also mention that we are still doing our giveaway. Once we hit 250 subscribers, we will be giving away an awesome autographed Power of Veto necklace. So make sure you are subscribing and inviting your friends. Okay.
Yep.
Let's jump in. So we start off Buenos Aires, Argentina.
No, we start off with an intro package, just like you would in any other real challenge season, which was so amazing. It was the music. You got TJ's voiceover. You have the voiceover of some of the players and then you see like just scenes of them like hitting shit and getting knocked over. It was great. That was just like it was like a real challenge.
It's the hype video. It's the hype video. It's getting you ready to do this. And so, I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited for it all. All right, but Argentina. We see them walking. They're in their street clothes, and they open a door. And, I mean, Tyson looked like a badass because basically he got two people to hold open these big industrial doors, and he strutted through like a peacock. And I was like, okay, he looks like a total and complete badass at this moment in time.
It was regular Tyson expectations. 4-time Survivor player. It was great having them open the doors, and then you see them walking in, and they're kind of like walking in by like show, sort of.
Yeah, they're kind of in groupings. How you do, you see, some of the cookout members together. You see some of the Survivor players together. I still am not familiar with the Love Island people, so that was fun. But they get there, and we're getting some confessionals in, and Tyson's strategy is to win every competition.
Which is a hell of a strategy.
Hell of a strategy. Like never going to be eligible to go home because I'm going to win every single week. Not completely realistic, but ambitious anyways.
The funniest thing about this strategy is that being a Survivor player, he's like, I don't care about the politics of this thing. I'm just going to go out and win and just smash it and just do that. And so, but Tyson was good at challenges. He's an athlete. So
that's the thing is he's good at challenges, but he could possibly win them all, but by the same token, he's very, very good at the politics too. So he's just such a well-rounded competitor. So I'm excited for that. We get our girl Tiffany. We did not get enough of her last summer. We want her just in every scenario we can get her. Great to see her back on the TV screen. And she basically says like, I did not win the show last year, but I won something, even bigger than winning the show. I won America's heart, and I'm here to do what I do, and that is to be the strategic mastermind. Like I have just kind of always been gifted with this ability to kind of manipulate, get people to do what I want them to do, and I'm excited to try it again.
Having Tiffany Mitchell out there, being the boss that she is, was just. I'm just so happy she's back on my TV. I'm just so happy she's back on my TV.
It's great. I mean, she's, you know, throughout the episodes, I think you can see people where you're like, okay, I can realistically see them playing a full season. And I feel like Tiffany gives you that vibe.
Yes.
And maybe she's a little bit of like the narrator we've been missing since Davon hasn't been on for a few seasons. They're both just so natural. And so I would love to see Tiffany get the call.
Yeah.
Full season. Sign her up.
I was surprised physically for Tiffany to be there, but she seems they're ready to play. And not just her. Everyone seems prepared physically that they were going to do. Well, all of the Survivor and Big Brother players seem to realize they were doing the challenge. You hear DX later on and Kiley talk about how they trained a little bit to get ready for this. I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah. And we get Xavier, our, you know, most recent Big Brother winner, talking about the cookout and how they have this most dominant alliance in Big Brother history. And a lot of them are back to do this challenge together, but you may not see the same level of commitment.
When X talks about the cookout, he says it's one of the most dominant. I think they are actually the most dominant. Like,
yeah. I don't know if there's been. I don't know if there's ever been an alliance that remained completely intact until there were no other people left. Correct. I mean, you know, you've got the Brigade who gets 3 of their 4 people there because they cut Matt, you know, weeks before they had to. And, you know, that's the other one that just immediately pops in. And you've got, like, you know, level 6, they lost people pre-jury. And so I mean, the cookout has to be the most dominant. But he says that they're not necessarily going to have that same level of commitment. But then the episode proceeds to go on, and it sounds like they're going to have that same level of commitment.
Actually, it didn't. It didn't. It seems like they're going to have that same level of commitment. But if you noticed during the time when they were talking, like in the bunker, we're going to call it the bunker because I don't know what the name of it is this season. But as they're standing there in the bunker, chatting, I think you're seeing the thing I was talking about in the cast preview. You're watching Desi and Tasha sit there and chat with Tiffany. You're watching Shan and Danny sitting there with Azah and Kiley. I think the connections through the Azah and the Azah events and the Bryson Wendell events, I think that is a lot. Like, that is a grouping and a pairing that we're going to have to be on the lookout for, because I think the cookout has expanded. They found family members. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I think that it's expanded, but I don't think that there's anyone from the cookout that's like, I'm going to go my own way.
Correct.
You know what I mean? I think that they're interested in pulling in more numbers. You have to be. There's 28 people, and there's only 4 of you. Yeah, but I don't see any of them being like, no. Whereas, you know, like in our cast assessment, we wondered, hey, will DX and Alyssa just be, you know, like drawn to the people that they're already have the connections with from last summer? And they're like, they got a different picture that they're painting. But,
yeah, they
I think that we're going to have to, we're going to see it play out over the next few episodes and what actually comes of it. All right. So we have TJ. He makes his dramatic entrance like he always does, looking a bit like a mob boss, you know, his shadow being casted on the wall. They seem genuinely excited to see TJ, especially our girl Shan.
You know,
I'm just saying, if TJ was a stripper, Shan would have thrown her panties at him.
I don't know if that's the case, but because remember, Shannon's boyfriend was an alternate right here. So
no.
I think she was like
Shan. Our girl, Shan. Survivor 41.
Yes.
Because she was clapping, she was jumping, and she'd have thrown the panties.
Legitimately, as a fan, if I'm doing the challenge and TJ walks out, I'm stoked because this is a real challenge. If I'm doing the challenge and Romeo walks in or The Miz walks in, I'm like, oh, okay. All right. Like, exactly. They're like, but TJ, like, I mean, Kiley even says himself, Mr. Owner of the final. TJ laughing.
We got to make his final. So they're excited, and it's fun to see it, like, as a fan and being fans of them, to get to see them also be excited. And,
Yes.
especially since some of them are so experienced in reality TV, to get to see them just in a completely different environment. So TJ kind of lays out the game for them. Everyone's starting with $1,000 of seed money in their account. They have to have at least $5,000 in their account to make the final. I like this as opposed to the skulls, because
I hate it.
The seasons where they've had to do the skulls. Well, let me explain why I like it as opposed to the skulls. I like that it's not just, okay, I've got my skull and now I am going to try to coast through the rest of the season. There's opportunities where, like Ozza and Kylan, guess what? They're still going to have to find a way to win some more money. And right now they don't have it.
So for me, the reason I hate it, and this is the only reason I hate it, I think when we create, as we watch the challenge over the years, when we create arbitrary reasons for you to get to the final, I feel like they need to be legitimate obstacles. By having it be $5,000 and you get a large sum of money when you win a daily, I hate the fact that you just have to do one thing. I want this to be
I agree. And I think I can agree with that part. It would be fun if they also had some type of detriment system too, where they can lose.
Yeah, where they're losing
besides just getting yeeted.
Yes, and if they're if because I really what I want is someone to be I want TJ to be in order to run my final, you need $50,000, and then when it starts coming down to it, you only got one person that's qualified. Other people gotta offer to go into an elimination and take someone out. You gotta try to ask for the money.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like that's what they did with the skulls, because they knew okay, when Fessy was I've got to get my skull. Oh, hey, I'm gonna try to go into a hall brawl because I'm the biggest motherfucker here. So that's easy for me to do. And he knew once he had that one skull, he doesn't necessarily have to go back in again. So I think it could have been fun if there was some type of detriment system, but I like that it's not just necessarily one and done. Kylan and Ozza, they're not qualified yet. They still have to do something else. But if Angela and Tyson don't have to do anything for the rest of the season, then I don't like that part of it. So
we're skipping ahead, but yeah.
Anyways, yeah. Spoiler alert. Okay, but if they win the whole show, they win a spot in the global tournament. Da-da-dum.
So this global tournament,
is this simultaneously airing? Is it airing right now in Brazil and Australia and the UK?
I don't know, but if it is are we going to have 4 people compete only?
Right. I mean, is there going to be literally 8 people? 2, 2, 2, 2, 2?
Right. Or is it going to be
that's the question.
What I think might happen is you earn a spot automatically, but I think that they're going to also pick other players from the other ones to fill out a complete season.
Yeah, that would be cool. I think that's how they should do it, but I guess we'll see. All right, so they move into the house, and it, as you said, it's basically just a big bunker / airport hangar, just this big industrial building. I kind of love that they do not have separate rooms. They're nope, You're all sleeping in one room. They've got just rows upon rows of bunk beds. Looks like a prison without the cells.
I thought the same thing. That's what you said. That was exactly what it looked like.
So, more commentary. We get DX talking, and he's like, there are some professional athletes here. Tyson was a professional cyclist. Danny McCray played in the NFL, and I did high school chess club. This is a bit unbalanced. I'm a little worried for myself.
Yeah. Watching DX say that, you realize how serious. I mean, Sarah was an MMA fighter, right? Angela was a professional pole vaulter. These are people that are extreme athletes, and DX watched Survivor one time and sent a text to somebody that
hey, I'm gonna apply for this. This is
yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. And we do get like the back and forth and these confessionals with Alyssa and DX talking about they're here for revenge. Do you think this is the right path for them to take to potentially try to get revenge, or is it a thing of, hey, you've got numbers and you've got familiarity with these people, you should stick with them until the getting's good? Do what they did to y'all, like keep them close, but have you some relationships closer.
I think sticking with them, it makes the most sense. But like I think the person most jilted is Alyssa, because she like X was like simping hard for a long time on her, right?
Yeah.
They spent so much time together, especially once Christian got gone. They just spent so much time with each other. So for him to have not really been working with her all along, like she feels super duped. And he thought keeping her to be the last one was like a good thing, but it's made it that much worse.
Yeah.
That much worse for her. Whereas with DX, like he got Claire, he still has a good relationship with these other people. DX learned the game so much from Tiff. He's like, man.
It's funny too, because I guess I'm sure if I'm Alyssa and I'm looking back on the episodes and I see Tiffany like sit Claire down and tell her like, this is why. And they're like, but hey, we don't want Alyssa to find out. And she gets duped even further. Like that has to just pour like salt in the wound.
Correct.
All right. We also get our first interaction with some Love Island people, and we get to see Cashel and his
Kira.
former girl Kira. And this is the most awkward exchange I've ever seen in my life. He's like,
Kiley, you have not seen any of these Love Island people before.
Never before seen them.
The Love Island people, obviously Love Island is not a competition show, right? You're not competing against each other. You're competing for America to like you, right? So you go and you see both Cashel and Kira, who apparently haven't spoken since they broke up on an hour 4 of an 8-hour road trip, right? You get to see that, which is probably very true, because they were actually dating after the show. And then you also see Cash and Cinco, who at this point have recently broken up.
I wrote down just broke up.
Yeah, they have broken up like weeks before. Yeah. So you get the two of them and you watch this like awkward tension. You have Shannon in there, whose active boyfriend is an alternate. And so he's not on the show, right? You have Justine and Sally, who are legitimate, like they lived at the time in the same apartment building in LA, and Sally lived 2 floors above Justine. So the Love Island people, what was your take on the Love Island people and watching this stuff happen?
So I loved this awkward exchange between
Kira and Cashel.
Cinco and Cash, they're like, okay, we're just going to go our separate ways. But of all of the Love Island people, I adored Shannon. She's a hot ass mess. She's absolutely made for the real challenge. Not as this great competitor, but she is a party girl, and I loved her.
Yeah.
She was the one that popped for me.
For me, when not to get too far ahead, when she's saying that she wants to go home, and doesn't like really want to be there. I know people saw that as like quitting, but I thought of Tyler and Angela and Casey, right? Tyler and Casey. When Tyler comes out there in Big Brother 22, when he comes out there in Big Brother 22 and does not see Casey there, who's the reason that he even agreed to do the show? He didn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah.
Right? When Shannon is being sequestered and Josh is being sequestered separately, she's thinking that we're going to be like, we're going to all go out there and I'll see Josh in a minute. And then she doesn't see him.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here at all. Like, what?
This isn't what I signed up for. What? I thought this was like a getaway with my boy. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I think she's very, very interesting.
Yeah.
She's interesting. All right. So we only have our three little amazing race people, Leo, Kayla, and James. And James is the one I told y'all to keep your eye out on him, that he was made for this. He is a reality TV fan. And we get this clip of him and Leo, which I thought Leo had a really, really great episode too. But we get this clip of James where he's like, we need to just keep moving around. We need to infiltrate these groups. We need to see who's talking to who. He is, he's got an eye for it. And I really liked watching him maneuver this episode.
Watching James work, I became a big fan because James is like, look, man, I sit at home and watch reality TV all the time. I happen to be a winner of The Amazing Race, yes, but my first job is watching this stuff. Yeah. So I know all of these. I know every single person here. I know everything they've done. I've known everything they've ever done. Tyson's played 4 times. Yeah. Sarah's played 3 times. I've watched them and then the maneuver. Mm-hmm. I know what makes them tick. He is us in the game, and I love it.
Yeah, it's great. And I did have to bring this up. I know you're not going to like it, but Sarah Lucina has one of the best confessionals of the episode. And she's like, I am here for the check. Go ahead and write it out for me, period. That's what I'm here for. And she has made her mission clear. She's here for the money.
What else are you there for, right? What else are you there for?
So before we go any further, I have to ask, did you watch the episode live or did you watch it on Paramount Plus?
Paramount Plus.
Okay. So Paramount Plus was not, there was no bleeps. Yes. F-bombs were dropped.
Yes.
So I'm trying to figure out, did they upload a different version than what was aired?
So I'm assuming they uploaded. I'm assuming they updated a unedited version.
Okay.
Uncensored version.
Yeah. And so they just bleeped it out in the main when it was okay. I was like, the first time I heard an F word, I was like, hold on a second. Did I just hear that correctly?
There's no way that flew on.
Yeah. The FCC got past them. Mm-hmm. All right. Super, super confused. Okay, but down to the challenge. This is called Down to the Math. Overall, what did you think about this challenge?
Okay, so the challenge to lay it out, down to the math, they have to, in groups of 2. So first off, they have to get into pairs. They have to pick their own pairs. Yeah. And they think these pairs are going to be for the rest of the game. Some pairs that were notable to me was James and Shannon. Mm-hmm. We see, I think, Kayla and David. From the Amazing Race, David
Kayla's
Alexander.
Like, what? This is not good for my situation.
We see Azza and Kylan working paired together. We see Kira paired with Casual, which was interesting.
Yeah. and we see Tyson and Angela jump on each other. Like,
correct. Run right to each other. Right to each other.
Match made in heaven.
When the challenge itself, you have to rappel down a building, rappel down a building from like the 24th floor. 22. And you have to keep track of numbers and math as you rappel down the building. Watching this happen, I was super impressed with the challenge itself. And then watching as they performed so well in it. Mm-hmm. Shocked. Yeah.
I thought it was a good introduction because rappelling, so when I was in high school, I got to volunteer at the fire department and I got to rappel out of a 2-story building and it was really scary to just lean. It is scary to just lean back. And I can't imagine the fear that you honestly have to do whenever, it's 22 stories. Like, that's real life fear. And so I think it was a good introduction of, this isn't Big Brother challenges. These aren't even Survivor challenges. This is another level. And so I thought it was fun. The only duo that does not complete it on the first try is Azza and Kylan. What are your thoughts about them having to go twice?
So it's tough because they were so close. They were so close. And he's getting the numbers. He got jumbled up. They're the only ones that had to go back up there and redo it. So they're the only ones that had to go up the stairs. And Ozza almost passes out afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't funny, but Danny he has this confessional where he says, like, Ozza's lips are chapped because she's so dehydrated. And I was just like, damn, Ozza is having a time, especially knowing what's coming up for her later in the episode. But I mean, Danny didn't have to call her chapped lips out like that.
But you know what? It was cool because at the end, they're obviously the losers, right? Because they had to go back and do it and go back a second time. But TJ, I just love the fact that TJ at the end is like, even you guys who had to go back killed this thing. Don't hang your head, because as we know, TJ will call somebody out if they suck.
Yeah, quick.
He's like, you guys crushed this thing, and my expectations were extremely low for y'all, and y'all blew them out the water.
Yeah, all of them. And this is where we get Shannon, who was like kind of wanting to leave, and she does this awesome challenge, and she's like, yes, let's go. Like her partner was James, and James, really encouraged her. This is kind of a typical Amazing Race challenge, actually. You get to see them do this kind of stuff. And I think James was such a good partner for Shannon, and he got her, kind of into it. And she was like, okay, this is fun, and I'm here now, and I am invested, so let's do it. Any other notable pairings or performances to pull out? A lot of this episode was watching people rappel and do a math problem.
Selly and Giovanni did much better than I thought they would. You didn't really see too much Justine and Dom.
Yeah.
But they were there. I think Enzo's paired with Sarah.
Enzo was with Sarah. Danny and Shan, which I do like Danny being like, my wife warned me if Shan's here.
and I love how he said, and I know if I hear the shanthem, that I need to run.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But anyway, so we see it come down to 3 pairs, and ultimately Tyson and Angela, shocker, have won this competition. I mean, the two of the professional athletes. So surprised.
Yes. Well, I love the fact that Cinco, who played college ball, and Desi also were crushing it.
Yeah.
And then Danny and Shan, right? Like there was true athletes all around, and that's how you know this is going to be a great season.
Yeah. And Tyson absolutely gets my favorite confessional. And he's like, they're all trying to figure out the proper way to do this. He's like, but secretly, I don't give a flying fuck. Get them out of here. Like Big Brother, I don't care. Love Island, Amazing Race, I don't care.
Right. So like you said, Angela and Tyson win the comp, and TJ lets them know that they're splitting $10,000. So they're now already qualified to run his final. In addition, they're the only ones that are safe. And since they're the only ones that are safe, they will be choosing who goes in against Kiley and Ozza. I love this because as a Big Brother fan, as a Survivor fan, I know those 2 groups are safe.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. They're not going to take a shot at their own in the first round. That would be so stupid.
Correct. And so it's like, okay, cool. That means we need to look at the Love Island pairings. We need to look at the Amazing Race pairings. And then, as you said, James looks up and says, yeah, that makes sense. Wait a minute. I'm an Amazing Race guy.
And I'm with a Love Island girl.
Is a Love Island girl. We may be in trouble. Right.
And so, I mean, there's just a few pairs for them to look at, and that is James and Shannon. You've got Giovanni and Sally. That's how you say it. And Cashel and Kira. And that's it. There's just
that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Those are the only 3. And so
and pretty quickly, when they're like, I want to make sure that Kylan and Azza stay, Kira's size immediately disqualifies her from this competition because we have no idea
Azza
what it's going to be.
Tiny.
Especially compared to Kira. And the last thing you need it to be is a pole wrestle. You know what I'm saying? And then Kira just like throws Azza around. They have no idea. They've never been down to the challenge, the elimination. So they don't know how it's going to go.
And so they quickly say, hey, if we have our preference, like we want James and Shannon. Shannon doesn't even want to be here. They pick out the perceived weakest duo.
Yeah.
And they think, okay, this is a done deal. Like Tyson and Angela are on board with it. Easy peasy.
Yep.
But after a night out at the bar, let's talk about the bar before we get into James's maneuvering.
So they go to the bar, and the Love Island people are getting it. Getting it. They know how to party.
Yeah. I mean, this was like watching grown-ass adults and college students, because you have this divide where you've got, Ben and Sarah Lucina and even, Tyson. These are people, they are married with children. And then you've got
Daddy Craig. And Daddy's like
Love Island girls.
Daddy's like, look at them, man. They live in their best life. Look at them having a great time. Yeah. And the Love Island girls, like literally, they're like 24.
Yeah, they're young. They are having a good time. And I love the contrast. And that's why they brought Love Island into this mix, because to be honest, it would be boring to just watch a grown people's party. We don't want to watch that. These aren't MTV stars. The All-Stars can still turn it up, even though some of them are married with children and all that kind of stuff.
They are used to the life.
Yeah, they're used to the life. But these Survivor and Big Brother people are not.
Correct. And another thing, though, that's the point, is that one of the reasons that the Love Island people were on such watch, right? And it goes back to what I was saying about like Justine and Sally's relationship, the dating relationship, the dating aspect. These people don't have to compete against each other. Mm-hmm. And so since they don't compete against each other on Love Island, they have time to actually bond while they're out there for 2 months. And then those bonds translate to their real lives, at least for the short term.
Yeah.
So with that being the case, they're the second lowest in numbers, they're the strongest group out here, because Tasha didn't play with Dominic Abate. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Angela didn't play with the Cookout. So they don't necessarily know each other.
Right.
These Love Island people, since they're not competing, even though they were on the same season, Kira hangs out with Justine and Sally often in LA. And Kira was on season 1 and they were on season 2.
And I mean, it also comes down to having different lifestyles. Like I said, a lot. I mean, Dom, married with kids. And, so Dom is not going to be just going and hanging out all the time with
Tasha.
Who has a completely Desi, and, these younger women that have a completely different lifestyle than he has.
Even a man of his own like age group, he's not going to go hang out with Tyson. Tyson's in Arizona. Yeah. Dom's in like New Jersey. They both have families.
They got families, and the lifestyle that they have just doesn't lend itself to getting to. They may see each other at an event every year. They're not on the regular intermingling. So that the Love Island group is kind of a force to be reckoned with, in that they're close. But the next day, before it is time to go to the elimination, I think we're just calling it the arena this year. Jane, like, I hate to alarm you, but people are throwing our names out there in part because they think that you want to go home. And she's like, but I don't want to, I've made that clear. And he's like, well, you need to make it more clear. And you need to make it more clear to Tyson and Angela.
Right.
And it cuts from there.
Well, when he has that conversation, he has the epiphany that we're in trouble, and we need to not be in trouble. And like we just talked about, James is essentially the person that looks around and says, I know Tyson's weakness, I know Angela's weakness. I watched BB20. Let me go talk to her about Tyler. I watched all 4 seasons. Let me go be his little coach.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And I think that's the biggest point is James can look at the situation and see, hey, Tyson likes, a loyal soldier. Let me be his Jervis. You know what I mean? I'll sit next to you at the end. No big deal. But James is enough of a player that he's not, I'll be your loyal number now in this first round so my ass don't get sent home. But later down the road, I'm hopefully going to accumulate enough numbers of my own to unseat you.
And that also leads me back to the Shannon part, because I think Shannon, when she was saying all those things about wanting to go home, that was like day one. And that was when, like I said, she shows up, Josh isn't there, and she's like, I don't want to be here.
Her arms are sore.
Yeah. She said she did enough. You know what I'm saying? He said, enough. Okay. Enough. This was a much more difficult when she first looked at it. Then as she was there and she had the support of the other people and she's around everyone else, she's like, all right, I can try to make the best of this. So she's like, I changed my attitude. And he's like, right. But like, everyone doesn't know that. So that's kind of important for you to let everybody know.
Yeah. So we get to the arena and TJ says, all right, Tyson, Angela, time to make your decision. Who's going to be competing against Ozza and Kylan? And out of nowhere, they decide, hey, we're going to throw in what's her name? Sally.
Come on. So Sally feels like she's safe, right? She feels like her and Giovanni's safe. I don't know why she thought they were safe. I didn't feel like there was any reason she should think they're. You know why she thought they were safe? Because she's never had to play a game like this, so she doesn't know that there's they're just, yes, you did well, great.
Yeah,
and that's not how this works.
And reading, we'll get there. They think that they're safe, but nope. Sally and Giovanni, get your ass down here. You're going against Kylan and Ozza. Yep. And it is the classic jungle gym, pull the rope through, tie the knots, and then the other group has to untangle it. But I loved that they were tied together.
Yes.
And I thought that was a fun twist.
They worked together to get it.
Yeah, they had to work together. Yeah. They could not go in different directions and do their own thing. You had to go one after the other. Each other. Right. It was a team challenge, and I liked that. And I like that. I don't feel like we have seen that on the main challenge.
No, we haven't. But I love the addition here. I loved right before that when we were doing the little talk where Ozza and Kylan are like getting focused, and Giovanni's just sitting there yelling at them.
Yeah, just he's getting hyped. He's trying to get in their heads because they've been blindsided.
Yeah. And so they're just trying to do whatever they can to get them a rise.
Mm-hmm.
But they go through the challenge. They go through the jungle gym thing. I wasn't sure that Kylan and Ozza's strategy was going to work.
Right.
It wasn't looking great. But in the end, Kylan and Ozza win the elimination challenge. Ozza's eyelash comes off.
Before Ozza has lost an eyelash. Homegirl's lips have been chapped. She's been through it, episode 1. And she still looks beautiful.
Yeah, looks great. And they take out little Sally Bird and they take out Giovanni. And
I'm fine with that. I have no investment in these two people. So if we're going to start losing folks and we're going to lose them in duos, I'm great losing some Love Islanders first. I thought that, and some of it is they're not going to get you too invested in people that aren't going to be there very long. So yeah, I don't have any sad feelings.
For me, Giovanni is just shouts to that guy, right? He goes on Love Island, doesn't connect with his first person, and he's the first one dumped from the island. Then he comes on the challenge, and he doesn't connect with everyone in the house. And he's the first one dumped from the challenge. Keep going, man. Maybe you'll make it past episode 1.
Poor guy. I mean, he's the David of the other one, of Love Island.
Yes.
All right, but so Kyla and Ozza win. They get to bank those $1,000 that they have now stolen from the fallen competitors. Okay, great. Still don't have enough money, but good job, guys. Back up into the crowd. Then TJ is like, but I've got one more twist for you guys. This is the randomizer. Is that what he called it? The randomizer.
They said no funny names this season. We're just going to go straight with what the things are.
Yeah. This is the arena. This is the randomizer. And every single round, you're going to have a different partner. And you are going to get randomly assigned a new partner until there are no new partners to be had. And then we'll go through a second round. So do you think that this is going to go all the way into the final challenge where they are then randomized, like at different checkpoints? Or do you think, hey, it's going to end at the final challenge?
I think it's going to. I think it's going to go throughout.
Yeah,
and I think it's going to go even into the final. There's going to probably be a point system. That's what they've been doing lately. So I think there's going to be some kind of a point system that they're going to have to accumulate points or money. That's going to be the points that's going to accumulate money in the end.
Yeah.
And then that's how they're going to determine
the winner.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's fun. I like that, they're not always going to be with the same people, because it would not be that fun to watch Tyson and Angela steamroll. Not that I think that they would realistically be able to win every single challenge, but they would be competitive in every single one. And that's not good TV. We want it to be more competitive than that. So I'm glad that it's going to be a mix-up. We have this comment here from DM Rocks, or maybe it's Dim Rocks, not sure.
Dim Rocks.
that I like that. I'm excited for the potential Sarah versus Angela showdown, and I think that could be amazing to watch.
It would be a phenomenal hall brawl.
Hall brawl. That's exactly what I'm thinking. All you could want as a challenge fan is to have like these two very dominant women. Usually you see it on the men's side, like, oh, we want to see a hall brawl with like Fessy and but to have these two women that are very. Angela made it so far in Big Brother. Sarah Lucina is a winner, and then they're both physical specimens, and to get to see them go against each other, it would be great. So that is the episode. Overall,
I know it was a bit of a sprint tonight in the recap, but with the first episode, we wanted just to make sure we got this out here. I know it's kind of late, so we wanted just to get this going. Overall, I loved it.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I thought it was fun. I thought there was some people that surprised me a little bit. Not gonna lie, I kind of enjoyed Angela.
Yeah, I told you. What I tell you? I told you.
I said she would be good on the challenge. No, I said that she's boring. But I feel like she was way more natural than she was in Big Brother. So we'll see. I ate my words last night, and I will potentially eat them again with Angela too. TBD. Okay. I'm not eating.
We'll be watching. Kiley, I thought that was a fantastic breakdown. I thought it was a great premiere, and I'm excited for the rest of the season.
Me too. It's fun. I didn't have expectations, so it's hard to be let down when you don't have any expectations. Like Big Brother constantly let me down. but I'm still excited for Big Brother too.
This is great. I can't wait for the rest of the season. I hope that they get the Shantham in there if Shanna's doing something devious. Yeah, I want to hear it. I love that Danny. I hope Danny keeps talking about his wife and the things she told him before he went out there. I hope she
got 2 shout-outs tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
I want his wife to just have all these words of wisdom for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like knowing what Kiki laid out for Danny before he left, because maybe maybe in a future season we get Kiki and Danny on together.
Yeah, yeah.
And Kiki may do the damn thing too. So, all right. Well, we will be back next Thursday with our Challenge USA recap. And then we will also be back Kevin, with our next Big Brother coverage.
Our next Big Brother recap will be Monday. We're going to be covering the Sunday episode. So catch us Monday at 9:30 Eastern.
All right. Sounds marvelous. We will see you guys next time. Bye, y'all.
Bye.